recent City Council meeting, members of the Council attempted to discuss potential changes to the duties of the position of City Manager. However, it appeared impossible to ask any relevant questions about the proposed changes without bumping into the dilemma of impacting current litigation between former City Manager Jose Ramirez and the City of Livingston, and possibly even a conflict with whatever may be going on between the City of Livingston and the replacement for Mr. Ramirez, Ms. Portillo, who suddenly had her performance reviewed multiple times and seemed to vanish from the picture shortly before the new City Council was sworn in December of 2022. Those of you who have been following the goings-on in Livingston remember that Jose Ramirez was denied a public performance review or opportunity to clear his name. Supposedly, this was because the performance review of Mr. Ramirez would conflict with the situation of some city employees that had some kind of ongoing disciplinary procedures. There is also the question of notice of termination. Did the City Council at the time render the required notice of potential termination to Mr. Ramirez in accordance with his contract and state law? Same with Ms. Portillo. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not putting forth a legal opinion. I'm just reading between the lines and drawing inferences based on what I have read and heard. And it would seem to me that if the so-called performance appraisal of Mr. Ramirez was just a performance appraisal, then the specifics of what was going on with the employees themselves would not need to be shared in a public forum. Again, I'm only drawing inferences, and reasonable minds can differ about what is really going on behind closed session doors. With that in mind, let's look at the special meeting agenda for March 21st. Then look at some of the government code referenced, and you can make up your own mind about why the current City Council is consulting with the current City Attorney about this piece of the government code. The special meeting itself for March 21st, 2023 is set to begin at 6 p.m. There is a teleconference number 520-525-8911, and the special meeting will not be streamed on YouTube Live. On the agenda for the closed session includes, number 1, conference with labor negotiators, which includes the City Attorney. Number 2, public employment City Attorney. And number 3, threat to public services or facilities. Government Code Section 54957, Consultation with City Attorney. Let's take a look at what this section of the Government Code refers to. I'm taking excerpts from the website california.public.law. At first glance, it looks like this section is about what can or cannot be included in closed sessions. Section A refers to matters posing a threat to the security of public buildings, a threat to the security of essential public services, including water, drinking water, wastewater treatment, natural gas service, and electric service, or a threat to the public's right of access to public services or public facilities. Section B refers to considering the appointment, employment, evaluation of performance, discipline, or dismissal of a public employee, or to hear complaints or charges brought against the employee by another person or employee, unless the employee requests a public session. Paragraph 2 states that employee shall be given written notice of his or her right to have the complaints or charges heard in an open session rather than a closed session, which notice shall be delivered to the employee personally or by mail at least 24 hours before the time for holding the session. If notice is not given, any disciplinary or other action taken by the legislative body against the employee based on the specific complaints or charges in the closed session shall be null and void. Paragraph 3 talks about witnesses and how witnesses should be handled. Paragraph 4 defines the term employee. Now, I don't know what, if any, the exact nature of the threat is that triggered this need to consult with the City Attorney about this piece of the Government Code. I just find it strangely interesting that it popped up on a City Council closed session at this point in time. Which leads me to the disclaimer. Editorial content and historical recollections are my own as a long-term resident of Livingston and City Council watcher since at least 2007. They do not represent the views and opinions of the City Council or of the City of Livingston itself, and they sure do not represent any kind of legal advice.